Hello, Julie here and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm creating a little folio that I saw Angela Kerr create during the Out With a Bang collaboration. And I have a friend whose birthday is coming up, so I thought I would make this for her. Now, I got so carried away, I've already started. But all I've done is I've got 3 envelopes, all the same, and I have attached one envelope to the other envelope by just attaching the flap at the back, and I have just left a little 1/8 of an inch or 1/16 of an inch along there so that that folds over nicely. Alright, so we want all of our flaps facing in the same direction, so I'm going to do this one. Now what I did was I put glue stick on, and then I used art glitter glue around the edges to just make sure that it's stuck nicely, and that way I don't have to get glue all over my desk, hopefully. Okay, so now some glue around the edge, liquid glue. You can put some in the centre section as well if you want to. And now we need to line this up so that we've got our little gap for the fold. So as you can see there, it's probably a little bit too far out. What I was looking for. There we go. So that one's a little bit further out than the other one, but that's okay. Now I'm going to burnish that down. Turn over here and get that so that it's all nicely stuck down. So there we have our 3 envelopes joined together, all facing, so all of the opening pieces are all going in the same direction. Okay, so now we have to take some masking tape and reinforce those folds. So I'm just going to run that across there, like so. I'm just going to cut that off. I'll just take that off first. I'm just going to cut that off flush. Angela did say that you can fold that over and then cut that, so like that, and then cut this part open. So you've got that sort of thing. Or you can just cut it off flush. So okay, that's one. Just make sure that we've got that open all the way through, yes. Now, the second one. And I think I might just cut that off flush. Scissors are not the greatest, are they? They're supposed to be the non-stick scissors, but I don't know. Okay, so So next step. Okay, so the next thing is we have to cover everything with pattern paper. And I'm going to use a digital from Paperomia, and it's called Floral Lace, I think. Anyway, I'm going to go and print those pages off because I haven't done that yet. It's called Floral Lace. And I'm going to print the pages off, and when I've got the pages, I'll come back and we'll cover all of the... Every area that you can see here has to be covered, front and back. So I'll be back shortly. So these are the papers I'm using. As I said before, it's a digital kit from Paperomia. It's called Floral Lace, and there's 37 pages in the kit, and they're just beautiful. Her pages are so 3D. They just, yeah, they blow me away actually. They look so great. So she has, I'm not sure how many pages are the full A4 size like this. I've only printed 6 pages at this stage, but so I'll show you those. I'm bound to use more later. And then she has a series of, like, this is 2 pages, so that would usually fold in half, so that would be a page in a journal. So you got two patterns on the one page. So that's another one. And as I said, floral lace, so you can see all the lace in this in the background. And look at the flowers, they just look like they're jumping off the page. She's got some blues, and in a couple of these she's got some greens in the background. And here we have some pinks, so it's all the pretty pastel colours. There's another one. Now we're getting into the greens in the background. There's butterflies here and there. Beautiful flowers, plenty of lace. A really nice mixture, and you can see here we've got some gauze and things going on. Some texture here. This is a flat piece of paper. You wouldn't think it, would you? Okay, so that's what I'm going to use to cover all of my surfaces. Now, I'm not going to make you sit and watch me do that, so I'm going to go ahead, and what I'm going to do is the insides of these pockets have to be covered as well. So the easiest way to, so for cutting this out, because we want to leave that piece there, so cut your paper. I'm going to do mine so it's just a little bit of the edge showing like that. And you might notice that I've cut that tape off of there, because when I put my paper on here like this, it's going to show, so I decided to peel that back. But anyway, cut your paper to size, then slip it inside your pocket and just draw around there, and then you can cut that piece out. So that's what I plan on doing. So I'm going to do all of that, even, you know, inside of this, and this piece here has to be all covered, and all of the back has to be covered as well. So every surface that you can see has to be covered with pattern paper. So I'll go ahead and do that. It's just a matter of cutting it and sticking it down. All things that you already know how to do. So I'll be back when I've got this all covered. Okay, so I've done 2, and I thought I'd just quickly explain to you how I do them. Now my envelopes are 7 1/4 by 4 3/4, and I've cut my pattern paper 4 3/4 by 7 1/8. Okay, then I take my paper and I pop it inside my envelope like so. Push it right down so it fits in right in, and I try and make sure that I've got it, you know, as level as I can top to bottom. Right, then I take my pencil and I draw around the outside of the envelope flat, trying to be careful to make sure that I keep my envelope nice and flat. Don't let it lift up at all, and make sure I get my pencil right on the edge, like so. Then I take my scissors and I cut along that pencil line as accurately as possible. Can't actually see where that is. I'll turn it round and cut. Now I ink around that. If I've got any pencil lines that you can see, I'll use my eraser on that and rub them out. I usually stitch on all of my projects, but I'm not going to be stitching on this one. If you do want to stitch, you'd stitch around this before you stick it down. Then I take my glue. You can use glue stick if you want to. We are sticking paper to paper, but I'm going to use my art glitter glue. And then I'm going to attach that onto this envelope so that the edge lines up along here. And burnish that down with my bone folder. Then I'm going to do the same with this piece. Now you can put plain paper in here, like coffee dyed paper or something like that. You don't have to use your pattern paper. If you do want to use pattern paper, you don't necessarily have to use the same sheet like I'm using either. You could just use a different pattern paper in there as well. So now that's going to be stuck down there like so. So I'm just going to use my, well, on these two that's what I did, but this one I want to cover that whole area. So I won't be doing that with this one, but I just wanted to show you that that is how you would do that. So that would just sit under there slightly, like so. So you'd stick that down like that. And there, that's how you'd end up with your, I mean, I could do that and then just use another sheet of pattern paper to go on there. I've got it here, why don't I use it, eh? So let's stick this one down. I'm going to pop that down there. And like that. And then burnish that down. So that's how I did that. So So that's, now I've got the backs to do and this part to do as well. So yeah, that's pretty straightforward. With this piece here, I'm just going to cut a piece that's that rectangular, you know, that size. So I'll cut a piece that's say 3 3/4 by the same 7 1/8, and then I'll stick it in here. Then I'll just cut around the outside with my scissors once it's done. All right, back to covering the back seam. Okay, so that's all covered now when we've got our 3 pockets here. And the back's covered as well. Okay, so now where our fold is here, we're going to score 1/8 of an inch back towards the fold side. So let's get that nice and straight, get that on the 6-inch mark, and then score 1/8 of an inch, and then at another 1/8 of an inch. Oh, right off. So now, I don't know whether you can see, you might be able to see it there. We've got the fold here, then we've got 1/8 of an inch, and then another 1/8 of an inch. And that's just going to give us a little bit of a fold there. If I fold along that outer line, we're not looking for a definite fold. This is just going to help us wrap around our closure. Okay, there we go. So now that's going to fold in like that, that's going to fold in like that, and then that will fold over like that. And I don't know whether you can see it there or not, but there is a bit of a flat section there. All right, now we're going to make a little booklet, and I've got a sheet of pattern paper here, and I've got some pages. Now these are just 6 pages is all I'm putting in there, and they're out of a book. Like, I've bought these books as a pack, and I've just deconstructed, I suppose, deconstructed them to make loose sheets of paper. Now I've got also a printed sheet here, and I'm going to use that for my cover. You can cover the inside if you want to, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm just thinking that that can be written on as well. Now where's my... Now I think it was 4 3/4 was the width of those envelopes. So I'm going to make mine 4.5 inches. So I'm going to need my trimmer. There we go, 4.5. So I'm going to cut this at 9 inches. I'll just go a little fraction over 9 inches. And cut that. And I'm going to make it, how tall? Let's say, just trim this top bit down a little. I'm going to make it, let's say, 6 3/4. 6 3/4 seems like a good measurement. Okay, now I'm going to cut this down to 4.5. I don't know. I don't think that's going to cut through all of those pages, so I'm going to take this to my other trimmer. I've got a bigger trimmer over there I'll use. I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches, 4.5 inches by the height of that. What was it? 6 3/4. So 4.5 by 6 3/4 back seam. So there we go. I've cut that down, and I changed my mind. I made this 6.5 because I wanted just a little bit, a little bit above and a little bit below of our cover. Now I'm going to score the cover at 4.5 inches. And fold that. Burnish. Now the booklet. Notepad should fit in there, like so. I'll attach that so that it's got about the same top and bottom, about 1/8 of an inch, like that. So that's our little notepad booklet. Actually, I'm going to attach something to the back of that because I think it's too flimsy. One's too big, too small. So I can either back it with coffee dyed paper, which would go nicely with that, which is what I think I'll do. So I'll go and get some coffee dyed paper and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got this lace patterned coffee dyed paper. If you can see, it's got like a large grid pattern on the paper, and I'm going to use that to back this paper. So to do that, I'm going to cover this with glue stick. And I'm going to just run a bead of art glitter glue around the edges. I'm going to line that up so it's nice and straight with the edges. Then I'm going to burnish that down with my bone folder. Now I can trim that down. Okay, now I'm just going to let that dry for a bit because I want it to stay connected when I fold it over. Okay, so my cover is dry enough now. I've folded it over and I've creased that with my bone folder, and I have taken it to my sewing machine and stitched around the edge. I know I said I wasn't going to stitch in this project, but I figured that I could do that for the book. Now, I had planned on doing a stapling my pages in there. Actually, I think that's pretty close there. I think I might just trim that off. Yeah, so I've got this U-Boot stapler that turns around and you can staple like any length of thing in here. But now that I've stitched around this, I think I'm going to stitch my signature into the cover. So I'm just going to take this to my sewing machine and stitch down there. Before I do that though, I'm just going to trim a little section off of here, and then I'll take it and stitch it in, and then I'll be right back. Alright, so there we go. So I've stitched that in. Oh, look at that. I haven't got that very centrally, have I? But I did trim that down so that it doesn't poke out the edge anymore. And it is within the cover, so that's what we're going to go with. Now, this is going to go, so I'm just going to open that to the midway point. And that is going to slip in there. Fingers crossed that's going to slip in there. Yes. So that folds over there nicely. Alright, now in these other pockets, you can just fill them with whatever you like. I'm probably going to make an envelope to fit into one of them, and maybe a couple of tags to go into the other one. And I'm going to do a closure now, so I'm going to use my crocodile and a eyelet. Grab my eyelets. So let's put a hole in here. So I want to come in a bit, I don't want to be too close to the edge. Like so. And actually I've got some grey eyelets here. I might use one of those. I think that blends in nicely. So I know that last time I used this I had the small eyelets, so I have to change the doodads on that. Now I'm going to squeeze this down. Let's get that on there. Actually, I think I'd rather do it upside down like this. That way I can see that it's hooked on that, and I know it's going to be at the right spot. There we go. Now I'm going to use some sari silk or something to go in that. So I need to go and check out what sari silk I want to use. I'll be back in a tick. Okay, so here's my basket of sari silk, and I could use that colour. I was actually thinking of a grey, but I don't seem to have a grey. I've got a white seam binding. I've got a neutral, that's a neutral colour. Should we go for the neutral or the, I've got the darker one, the green. Okay, it's one of those, so let's make up our mind which one we want to go for. I quite like the green. What do you think? Green or the natural? Is not as soft. This is a soft one. I like that. think I'm going to go for the natural or the neutral or whatever it's called. So I'm going to put this through there. And feed that through there. Like so. Then this piece will stay here. This piece will wrap around here. Need to just release that a little bit. Let's try that. So we could do that. Or I could cut a longer piece. I've got plenty here. See if I can find an end. Here we go. Need about that much. It doesn't even look as long as that. Oh yes it is. Okay, now I'm not a big fan of the bulky sari silk, so I generally cut these in half. So I'm just going to give that a little snip and then tear that. Whoops. Okay, now let's try that again. There we go. Okay, so that's what I'm going to stop there today. That's just what I wanted to show you, how I created this, and thank you Angela for your great tutorial showing us how to do this. As I said, I will make an envelope and put in there, and I'll probably put a couple of tags in here that can be written on, and yeah, so that will be a gift for my friend this week actually. So okay, well thank you for joining me. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to give me a thumbs up and a like and leave me a comment, all those lovely things. And yeah, I'll put a link to Angela's video in the description box, and I'll also put a link to this beautiful digital kit from Paperomia. So okay, thanks for being here, and I hope you can join me for my next video. Okay, bye.